Right, so today we've got a 17 plate Transit. Now it's been to a few garages already, and none of them can get it going. They've changed throttle body, injector, turbo. What it's doing is really rough idle, taking over like 500 to 600 RPM, and you got no throttle at all. So first thing I'm going to do is just whip the injectors out, check them, and do a compression test and go from there, because we've got no fault codes whatsoever stored. Okay, so just done a compression test using this compression tool. Pop that in the hole, bolt it down, and then use your gauge here. Cylinder number 1 and 2 is getting about 10 psi, whereas the other two cylinders I was getting 310 psi. So we'll have to start stripping it down, get the head off, and have a look, see what we got. Okay, so little update. Decided to take the whole front end off. It only took me about 20 minutes to get it all off, so just makes it my life a lot easier now, stripping this engine down. So first of all, I got a bit carried away, took the inlet manifold off, get the thermostat off, get the rail off, get the alternator off, get the jar cooler off. I'll probably do the same as what I've done with the last one on this, and just leave the turbo on it and just take the DPF off and just pull it all out together, because that doesn't look very nice down there, taking that exhaust manifold off. But we shall see how we get on. Okay, so a little update. Took the inlet, inlet manifold, the inlet off, took the thermostat out, took like all the plates and stuff off here, took the oil feed and the oil return pipe off the turbo, took the clamp off, took the bracket off down there that holds the TPF to the engine, and then all we do now, support the engine, take the mount off, take the belts off. Well, that one's already off, but take the belts off, take the cover off, tighten it up, whip the head off. Little update for you. Trying to get the crank pulley off, but she ain't coming, so I made up a sort of makeshift puller, and it's just bending it. So I'm gonna have to look for something a little bit stronger than that. I was hoping a bit of pressure on it and a little tap for a vibration would make it pop, but doesn't look like it have. Right, take 2. Gone for a bit of angle that I found. So let's try that. Put you down somewhere. Fuck it, some pressure on that. Go. Just like that. So that's all I've done. Just got a socket that fitted in there. Got my 2 bolts. Just put it on there, and that pulled the pulley off the actual crank. So now we'll rip the timing cover off, time it up, take the head off. Okay, so I've got the head off now. I completely forgot to record setting up the timing and taking the head bolts out, but we have big problems. I don't know if you can see on the camera, head gasket's blown straight through. Now this is already a 4 notch, and it's blown blown through that. Now I'll take you over to the head now in a sec, and I'll show you the cylinder head, which is even worse. So, cylinder head, as you can probably see straight away already, massive gouge out of it here. So that's a little bit too deep. I don't think you're going to get away with skimming it. Plus I'll have to check what sort of gaskets is head gasket sets that they do, because it's got 4 notches on that one, which I think is probably the thickest one you can get. But this has been skimmed once already, as you can see all the markings on there. So don't know if we're going to be able to repair this head or not. We shall see. Our new cylinder head has arrived. So now time to strip everything off this, rebuild this one up, but I will just put a straight edge on that and just double check that everything's fine. It's come with the valves in, so I just want to check that they've all been lapped in and there's nothing leaking there as well. Yeah, seems like a pretty good job. And also this head come with like the whole head set, so you've got all the gaskets, all the head gaskets, head bolts, and then all the seals and gaskets, everything else that goes with it. So we'll swap everything over and get it back on. I can't find my engineering tape measure, so all I'm going to do is just use the straight edge on this saw, using my feeler gauge, just go across. Just checking as I go along. If I can get it in. Now, 9 times out of 10 these are fine, but you don't want to go for the hassle of rebuilding the whole engine and finding that the block was warped or not perfect. Which, perfect. So we can start building it back up. Right, okay, so time to clean the head up now. What I've got is a block of wood with YMF tape on it, and then I'm just going to go forward and back whole strokes, just so I don't get any distortion on the block as I clean it up. So I did have to take the dowels out, so let's clean it up, see if that's actually alright or not. Okay, just a little update. So I've cleaned up the head as best I can at the minute. Still got just a slight bit there compared to the others, but the block should be able to get saved. So I'll just clean it up now a bit more and then build it all back up together. Just checked using my feeler gauge and my straight edge across there after I've cleaned it up, and it's all good. So we start building putting the head back on now. So new head bolts, they're dry, so as I put them in, I'm just going to dip them in oil. Okay, so all I've done is put a bit of oil either side of the washer, and that way it just helps tying everything down. Bloody gloves. So I just put all them down hand tight now, and then we'll torque everything down. Right, so torque settings for the head is 15 newton meters, and then 25 newton meters, and then 40 newton meters, and then 90 degrees. So I get my torque wrench ready now, tighten these down. Right, so now just going to get some oil, and I'm just going to pour it down in all the hydraulic lifter ports and on the springs. And then I put the hydraulic lifters in. Right, so now to put the rocker arm and hydraulic lifters in. So I'm just going to soak them in oil before I pop them in there. Right, that's all down finger tight. There is a torque setting for that as well, but I can't remember off the top of my head, so I'm going to have to check, and we'll torque them down. So all of these bolts, they are 5 newton meter stage 1, 10 newton meter stage 2, and this one bolt here, which is a 10 mil, that is 25 newton meters then. So we will torque all that down, and get the timing belt on, and I think I'm going to call it a night then. Okay, so got the timing belt on. So there's 2 holes there and there for 2 6mm drill bits, and then on the, this is going to be difficult to show you actually. I don't know if you can see that, but on those teeth, they are actually marked up, and they line up together as well. So from this pulley to your crankshaft, those teeth line up. It's like on this one, 2 teeth are marked. On this one, 1 tooth's marked. So that 1 tooth slots in between the 2 teeth on here, and that's when you know it's timed. And then, just to be on the safe side, you could put a screwdriver down the hole there and just give it a little rock on the crankshaft. Just make sure it is at top dead center. So then all I'm going to do now, whip these pins out, say pins, and then just turn it over nice and slowly. Now, to get this to time up earlier, or when I was coming off, I probably turned the crankshaft probably about 5 or 6 times to get all the actual timing marks to line up perfectly. It's probably because of the different ratio on that pulley to that pulley. But yeah, so, and I'm gonna, yeah, the fuel pump's timed as well, so but it's only timed to make it run a bit more economically. So yeah, so I'm just going to turn it over basically until those timing marks line up again, and make sure it all turns over nice and smoothly, nothing hitting or nothing banging as we turn it, so we know no valves are hitting the piston. So there's the one that's marked there, look. If I wipe it off so you can see. So the crankshaft slots straight in between those there, and that's when you know it's top dead centre. Ooh, slipped off then. This is it. This has got to be it. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Oh, I don't know how much of what you've seen now. So that's perfect. That's lined back up. They have lined back up at the holes, just for good measure. Just double check. Yeah, and yeah, and then double check that. Perfect. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's lined up as well. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there now today because it's getting on, and just basically start rebuilding it all back up the opposite way that I took it off. Ooh. Nice to know that the oil's working, the oil pump's working, look. Come out everywhere. But that's getting changed anyway. Right, that'll do us. Right, okay, so built it all up now. Timing cover on, engine mount on, all the auxiliaries back on. The wiring took some remembering, but got all that done in the end. Now, when I was removing it, I snapped a coolant connector there, so I'm just waiting for that to come in. Probably shouldn't have built it up really, but it's easy enough to change one bolt. Get that done, put the radiator back on, drop the oil, change the filter, fill it up with coolant, and then we'll see if we can make a tune out of it. Now we're in a position where we can actually get it started. So before chucking all the front end back on, I want to make sure it actually starts and make sure there's no leaks or nothing, because it'll be easier to do while we've got it all stripped down like this. So let's grab the keys and see if we can get it going. Right, so final check's done. Checked all the levels, checked everything, all back together. Time to give it a road test. Let's go. Number plate.